Hey everybody, and welcome back to my December daily for 2019. I am Theresa of theresamoxley.com, and so today I'm going to finish up this epic album and do the last 3 days of December daily from 2019, and so it's going to be December 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And so for the day 23, I had the back of this 2x2 pocket page. So not really a lot that I needed to do on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, I have a page protector with 2 4x6s. One of the 4x6s has my photo already printed up in 4x6 format. That photo is our Christmas presents, and they were all stacked up in the closet and wrapped and ready to go under the tree and ready to be opened. And so this is one of the stories that I always include in my December dailies. I've spoken in the past about the days before Alan and I met when I was a single mom, and we experienced a couple of years that were really difficult. And there was one year that we had about $80 to spend on Christmas presents. And I always take time to remember that and take time to reflect on the incredible privilege and gratitude that I feel knowing that our lives, for all 6 of us, our lives are so much better now, and things are, we're doing really well, and we're so lucky every year that we have this huge pile of presents under the tree that there's something really special about that. And I just want to reflect on that. And so for me, this photo and this day and this page in the album isn't about showing off or bragging. It's just about recognizing the privilege that we have, that we're able to provide such an amazing Christmas for these children. And it really does make me feel so good. I chose a Allie Edwards journaling card to include with the photo, and so it's the Peace and Joy card, and to that I added a little strip of washi tape. I think the washi tape is from crepe paper, and then the little metal tag has the number 23, and that little metal tag is from Tim Holtz. I think that he does a little pack that has all the Christmas numbers in it, 1 to 25. And so that was fun to just add that little tiny thing at the bottom of that journaling card. And then I'm going to add a little label and a word strip to my photo and a couple of teeny tiny stars just for a little embellishment on that photo. And with that, I'm going to call day 23 done. Very simple, very quick to pull together. And then I get to move on to day 24. And so for day 24, I had a classic bokeh Christmas tree photo. And what I wrote about, or really my story for that day, was about how Alan and I were really actually thick in the preparations for our trip to Disney. And as a part of our preparations, we had gone into Best Buy and we found this little Nikon DLSR. And forgive me, I don't have the camera in front of me to tell you what it was, but it's a smaller size DSLR. And if you're a Canon person, then what I have for normal, just every day to day, besides my phone, is the Canon 7D. And that thing is a beast. Like, it is huge, and I really didn't want to carry that around Disney, but I wanted a DSLR. I wanted to do some photos with DSLR and some photos with my phone. And it turned out to be an excellent strategy. If you've watched any of the Disney, just a side note, if you've watched any of the Disney videos, then you may have heard me talk about how we went through so many phone batteries and so much storage space on our cameras, but mostly it was the battery life. And so having the DSLR that was manageable to carry around the parks was a really good strategy. But that's totally like off topic, except that I wrote a little bit about that, and that photo of the tree came from that little DSLR. We were just hanging out by the tree and playing around with some of the settings, getting used to switching from a Canon to a Nikon. They are both different in the way that they function, and so that was kind of cool. And I'm really glad, at the end of the day, I'm really glad to have both a Nikon and a Canon and be able to know a little bit about each one. So I did a very simple journaling card for that one from Paisley Press, and then added the number to the photo. And that literally is all I did for day 24. So moving into day 25, and I knew as soon as I saw these wooden numbers, I knew that I was going to use them for day 25. I've seen some other folks use those same numbers the same way. I think Audrey Med has used those numbers in her 2019 album in the same way as well. So I'm not claiming the rights to that, to putting those numbers on that page that way. I'm not scraplifting anyone. It's just the first thing that came to my mind when I put those wooden numbers in my cart last year, and I said I have to have them. But I wasn't ready to work on that transparency or work on that page just yet. I knew that I wanted the photo of the kids behind the 25. And so I went through and found a transparency that I want to use behind that 25. It's a black grid, and I think that grid transparency came from Allie Edwards last year or the year before. And so what I've done behind that what I'm doing behind the transparency is the photo that you see of our 4 kids. This is a photo that I take every year of them underneath the tree, and this year they were on the sofa beside the tree, but that's okay. All 4 of them together. And I took the Be Merry card, is actually a vertical 3x8 card, and I cut it down to 6 inches so that it would go across the bottom of this layout, and then their photo would be on top of it. And you saw me sort of play around a little bit with what embellishment to put at the seam between the card and the photo, and I ended up using that cute little white felt star in between there. And so now I'm going to adhere or figure out how I want to put these numbers on this transparency. And there's a couple of different ways that you could do this. I've seen them sewn. I've seen them, you could get your Tim Holtz stapler through there, or if you have a heavy duty stapler, you might be able to do it that way. There's different ways. You could, if you bought 2 sets of those numbers, you could put another set on the back and hide your adhesive that way. And on the back, they would be adhered backwards. That might be kind of cool to have that wood tactile experience on both sides. But what I chose to do was just to use some of this little red twine here. I'm going to puncture the transparency and feed that or thread that twine using a wide sewing needle, like an embroidery sewing needle that has a little bit of a wider head. And what I decided to do is to tie the twine in a red bow at the top of each of the numbers. And what I liked about this, after I had done it and was putting it in the album and everything, it made me realize that it feels a little bit like Christmas ornaments. Christmas ornaments, or like a little present. It's a bow at the top of a little present there. It adds a little bit of red and white, or a little bit of red to this page as well. I just thought it was really cute. And I really like the idea of transitioning from the 24th into the 25th using a big, very bold present number like this is really cool. And then you'll see that the photo of the kids shows through behind this. And I thought that was really cool too. Now, before I sewed these in place, I put a little bit of adhesive on the back of them. And then what you saw me doing there was just cleaning up that adhesive. And full disclosure, I did go back and add just some little tiny glue dots at the bottom of those numbers so that they would stay in place as you flip the page. I realized that would get a little messy just because they're only sewed down at the top. You could sew them at the bottom too, or at the sides. But that was how I decided to do that. And so when I do the walkthrough of this album, then you will see the little tiny glue dots on the back. And that's fine. I think it really is okay. So turning the page and then working on day 25. Of course, I always take a photo of the Christmas tree. And at this point, I just want to say at this point that after doing December Daily for 12 years, or I think this is my 12th year, that I have a formula for day 25. And the formula basically goes like this. A photo of the kids under the tree, a photo of the Christmas tree by itself, like a 6x8 or some kind of large prominent photo of the Christmas tree, and then smaller photos of each of us, opening the presents, hanging out, laughing, having a good time together. But that way each person gets in the album and gets included on this day, right? And that way there's the story of the main highlights that happened. And that's just how I personally have come to terms with, you take 200, 300 pictures on between Christmas Eve and Christmas morning. And how do you pick what goes in there? How do you pick just one? Do you have to pick just one photo for the 25th? No. And in fact, I want everybody included on this day. And full disclosure, we don't always open presents on the 25th. Every other year, Nick and Natalie are here on Christmas Day, and on the off years, they're here on Christmas Eve. But I still put the ceremonial present opening goes on the 25th for me, just because this is my formula. And so the reason that I wanted to say that is because it is okay to develop a formula year after year that you know works for you and that helps you come to terms with how to get the album done, so that you don't have to, I don't have to stress over picking just one photo, or I don't have to feel like this day has to go on one page or even on one spread. It's it's across several pages. And that is what works for me, and I love doing it this way. And so you'll see here that I decided to use that deep red journal card. I love that card. And I used a Jelly Roll pen in white to add my journaling. And then I also had another one of the dark red journal cards, and I punched a hexagon out of that journal card. One thing I didn't mention, and my apologies for not mentioning, I did put those cork hexagons on the Christmas tree photo. And my idea was kind of just to create a little frame there with those. And I thought that worked out really cool. And so I repeated that hexagon shape here on the right-hand side just by punching out journaling cards with my hexagon punch from Fiskars, and that made for some really cool embellishments, and it helps repeat that shape a little bit. I know there were a ton of hexagon layouts last year from the product play class, so that's just a little nod that was the year that everybody used the hexagons and everybody bought all the hexagon punches. And so that's just a fun little creator detail that only you guys know and I know. And so then once that layout is done, I'm going to turn that last page protector and do the last page here. And so they're just a photo of myself. I usually try to put a photo of myself on the last page somewhere. And also our two boys. And just going to journal a little bit here, some reflections on Christmas morning and the really wonderful day that we had. Really amazing season. We immediately, after opening those presents, we jumped in the car and drove to Florida for an amazing Disney trip. But I'm so glad that I still created this album, participated in this project. I will be sharing a full walkthrough video with you very soon. Stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for all your support and all the love that you have shared with me throughout this project. I am ready to jump on board with 2020 and can't wait to see what comes next. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.